Love is an industry. Love is a poem. Love is an ocean. Love is
eat a lot of chocolate.
A person can become great provided that they've read the complete works of Oscar Wilde. Then after doing that,
just a good woman, you know, somebody you're going to connect with, somebody you feel that you can create the entire life with.
Prepare for death.
I like to think that God created us because I don't know why God created us. I don't know.
Somebody invented football. It's probably like one guy that invented football. Look how great that is. That changed the world.
Whenever I go to the ocean and I see the water and it doesn't end, I realize it makes me feel the whole world is actually connected.
Hell, wow. Not a place I want to be.
Heaven, a nice, hot, beautiful beach.
Enjoyment, we want satisfaction.
I'm afraid of spiders.
Deep, dark waters.
A killer or monster is living underneath my bed.
I'm afraid of being murdered, I'm afraid of being burgled, I'm afraid of being shouted at.
You can't get everything you want.
I prayed for children, and thank God I have 2 beautiful little girls.
Life's amazing.
Prepare for death?
Yes, it's called living. Everyone prepares for death. That's what life's about.
Well, life is a preparation for death. The whole of life is a preparation for death.
I don't think people can prepare for death. Death just happens.
You can write a will and you can buy a graveside, but other than that, I think you got to prepare for life.
If living life to the fullest and not worrying about when death will be is preparing for death, then yes.
It's such a massive aspect of life. Death is such a massive aspect of life that you can never really prepare. Life is a preparation for death.
Don't forget to enjoy life. Don't forget to smell the roses. Don't forget to look at the beauty and the wonder of the world.
I think everybody prepares for death in their own way, and people who don't find themselves going through a very traumatic death.
Most people don't want to die, but are they actually afraid to death? There's been, numerous counts where, an old person is dying and he's in the hospital and he knows death is near, yet he's at peace. Why? His soul knows that just because the physical world may be soon over, there's an eternal spiritual world afterwards.
Make the best out of life. And if you make the best out of life, then you're all set for death.
Sure, everybody should prepare for death. You know what? Before Rosh Hashanah, you should write a living will. You know what that is? It doesn't matter how old you are. You're 15, you're 20, you're 35, you're 40, you're 70. But write out now to your son. You don't have a son, you're 20 years old, yeah? But someday, if you had a son, what would you want to tell him? My son, I've lived 20 years and this is what I accomplished. I hope you do better than me. This is what I learned from life. I mean, put down everything you learned from life. This is what I think life is about. This is, when you try to communicate to your children after death, thinking you're gone, yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are, but it makes you think about life in different terms. What are values? What is life really about? You try to reach it. You try to reach it because we naturally want to tell our children.
If I was writing to a letter to my family before I passed away, I think I probably would let them know that they should live their life to the fullest and in the most truthful way possible.
Well, at the end of my life, I would give the advice to my family that they should not waste time, not sleep in the mornings, take every minute of the day.
Oh, man. Don't make the same mistakes I made.
Enjoy yourself, be nice to other people.
I'm too young to be giving out advice for a lifetime.
I would like to leave a message that we don't live forever. So you have to remember that be happy and accomplish in life. Make something of yourself.
And it would read as follows.
would say love as if you've never been hurt and dance as if no one can see you.
I don't want to answer this question.
Is Judaism the opium of the mass? Opium? What's opium? The opium, like the optimum. The opium.
No, that's utter nonsense.
It absolutely is.
Who said that religion's the opium of the mass? I have no idea.
That's Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche.
Marshall McLuhan.
People can turn religion into their opiates, but I don't think that religion is the opiate of the masses.
Religion keeps us in touch with reality.
I have no idea who said religion is the opiate of the masses.
It was Winston Churchill.
Karl Marx.
Karl Marx.
I think opium is the opiate of the masses.
Listen, in my neighborhood, opium is the opium of the masses.
Yeah, well, that's a little out of date, but Marx, he said, religion is the opiate of the masses. It's the opium of the masses, because some religions say, don't bother yourself about what's going on in this world. You suffer in this world, but you'll have the world to come. So just go back to sleep, take the hitting on your head and turn the other cheek, and just suffer. Heaven is for the meek, heaven is for the ones who suffer most in this world. In our religion, we say, don't turn the other cheek. We say, somebody comes to hit you, hit him first. Ashkevogo. We say, don't suffer evil, yeah? Eradicate evil. Don't love your enemies, protect yourself, kill your enemies. So in Judaism we say that atheism is the opiate of the masses. Atheism is the opium. You hear that? That's a nice turnaround. Atheism is opium. Why? Because you ask any human being, isn't it terrible, the violence in the world, war, drugs, hate, starvation, battered babies, battered women. Isn't it terrible? And everybody says, it's terrible, it's absolutely awful. What are you going to do about it? What can I do about it? What can I? Who am I? What am I? A little nothing. What can I do about it? So you go back to sleep. Violence. What can I do about it? Violence. Opium dreams. Now, there isn't a human being in this world who would say, if the Almighty Creator of this universe would help me, I couldn't change this world. There isn't a human being. I mean, you know, the Almighty Creator of this universe will help you. You can change this world, right? So it's just a question whether He wants to help you, right? Does He want to help you? Everybody knows. He wants a world of brotherhood, a world of love, a peace on earth. That's the Almighty. So of course He'll help you, but you got to undertake. But the atheist, he says, nah, no use. All I can do is smoke opium. Comfortable, isn't it?
One should relate to their money that they should know that money does not go with you to your grave, and appreciate what you have when you have it.
I think one should relate to their money as a means to an end. It's not going to bring you happiness, but it can sure help you on the ride.
Money is evil.
Relate to money, should love it while he has it.
Money is a means, not an end.
I think that you should remember that you can't take it with you.
I hope he's a better caretaker of his money than I am.
People should realize that it's really not the most important thing in the world, and it's actually one of the least important things in the world.
We should use it as the practical, abstract tool that it is.
How should people relate to their wealth? I think they should spend it freely, enjoy life, and I guess share it with their close friends and family.
How should we relate to money and wealth? And yum, 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 give me some. Money and wealth is power. Money and wealth, you can help the poor. Money and wealth, you can straighten out the world. Money and wealth, you can, it's power. It's an extension of self. That's the way you should relate to it. If you think that it's for indulgence, so that you can have another tennis court and another, and 5 cars, and then it's going to kill you. It's going to bury you in nonsense. But if you use it intelligently to help humanity, to help your family, and to help yourself to experience life and to gather wisdom and to accomplish great things, it's power. We want money and wealth.
Well, if I had $1 billion, let's see, half of it in the bank, half of that, no, also in the bank, 3/4 in the bank, $250 million. What would I do with that?
What would I do? It's a good question, that.
I'd buy 2 Hugo Boss suits, and the remaining $50 I'd give to charity.
Buy a flawless stereo system. I know I should probably say I'd go give it to, all these different organizations, but that's what I want before anything.
I think about that question all the time, and I think it's one of the things that keeps me going.
Then I'd buy a 59 Thunderbird, pastel blue with 4 seats.
I'd buy myself an island, build a house, and many surfboards.
Buy a nice house. I'll buy nice cars.
And then I would get a really big house. I want to have fish tanks installed on all the walls.
Well, I'd buy a yacht.
Give it away.
I'd help my mother out a little bit. And then go take care of giving a bunch away to charity.
If I had $1 billion, I probably wouldn't know what to do with it.
One could be sure to give good advice if they put themselves into the other person's shoes and not just give advice of what they think, to really empathize.
The secret of giving good advice is to give advice that works for you.
Never tell anyone anything that you yourself wouldn't do.
Oh, yeah, if you're willing to listen to others.
People's problems.
Yeah, if you listen to others and you take everyone else's advice, then you're going to be good at giving it.
One can learn to give good advice, but not giving bad advice.
I graduated with a BA in psychology, so advice was always something that came naturally to me. I can't really come up with a specific scenario now, but I think I give advice constantly, all day long.
To give someone good advice is probably to listen to what he has to say about his own situation. I don't think you can ever be sure to give good advice. You can only give advice what works for you, and it may not work for other people, but I guess the more you know the person, the more you can think that you're giving them the right advice.
Don't be flippant when you're giving people advice. Now, in order to get the feeling of this, you see, imagine a friend of yours comes to you and he says, I got 2 doctors that say I should have open heart surgery. And I have 2 doctors that say it will kill me. And these 2 doctors that say I should have open heart surgery, they say if I don't have it, I'm dead in 3 months. The other doctors say that if I do have it, I'm dead in 1 month. It won't work. It's just too much for me. I can't really think about it. Would you do me a favor? Take off a week and work through this information and make the decision for me. Now, if it's a good friend and you can take off a week, but here's life and death. You got to do it. But boy, are you loath to do it, yeah? And how are you going to go about doing it? You got to sit down, you got to get some advisors of your own, because this is life and death. And I'm not suggesting that every time somebody asks you for some advice that you go through a whole, you take off a week from work to give them advice how to handle with his kids if they're misbehaving. I don't say that, but take it seriously, because you give wrong advice, you're hurting him, you're hurting his kids. You give him good advice, you're saving him, but you got to know which way to go, and take it seriously, not flip it. Don't say, all right, do it. Watch your step.
Someone asked me advice what kindergarten to send their daughter, and I felt like I could give her the right advice, and I didn't hide anything, and I just told her the honest truth about the kindergarten.
The issue was a friend and the girl that he wanted to marry, and my advice was that they should actually take their time, and they did, and he's expecting a baby in a month.
Once upon a time, my one friend was in a difficult place, and he asked me to give him some advice. I told him, I think the best way is to remove yourself from this terrible situation, put yourself in a new environment, and he did it, and it worked.
I once was asked by someone to give him advice on a life decision, and I advised him that he should go see someone who's a lot smarter than I am.
An example of good advice that I've given is for a fellow friend of mine to go to a rehabilitation, because if it worked for me, it could work for him. And that's a very honest answer from me.
A wise man is someone who doesn't make mistakes twice.
A wise man is someone who, I guess, sees where his actions lead him.
A wise man is someone who thinks before he speaks.
A person who doesn't jump too quickly to give an answer to a question.
A wise man is someone who thinks a lot.
A wise man is not worried about things that he cannot change.
You can either say a wise man has good intuitions, or a wise man makes good choices, a wise man is smarter than other people and has more life experience. A wise man could be a lot of things.
The wise man is the one who strives to understand what God wants, how to love him, how to feel his presence, how to get your prayers answered, how to help other people find out what they're living for, how to make the brotherhood of man, how to bring God into this world permanently. Don't be complacent with what you know. You know, people think, I've learned the secret of happiness, appreciate what you have. And they say, I said, now I know. Unless you put it into effect, you haven't even begun. But even if you work at it, you give 5 pleasures every day to your wife, and she gives you 5 pleasures, and you're really feeling things, yeah? You've got to realize you still haven't even begun. The depth of appreciation, what there is to appreciate, why don't people appreciate? What makes you loath to appreciate? After all, it's a gorgeous day. What turns you off? Why is it that we're not really singing and dancing all day? This should always perplex you. You've never reached the limit of how much to understand any aspect of human wisdom and of human endeavors. The best example of them all is everybody knows we should ask ourselves, bottom line, what are we living for? What do you want on your tombstone? What do you want them to say? You don't want them to say that you drove a Porsche or you had a 7-room apartment. You want them to say things like helped human beings. He was always kind to people. He was always willing to listen to your troubles. He was a man who was concerned with the Jewish people. Things like that.
On my tombstone, I'd like to be remembered by lived life to the full, did the highest bungee jump in the world, and lived through a good time in history.
That I was a very good man, and that I helped a lot.
Tried her best.
Unoccupied.
I don't want to think about it.
I don't know. Maybe just my name. I don't know if I need anything fancy.
Nothing. I don't want to have a tombstone. I'd like to have a tree buried on my grave, on my gravesite.
On my tombstone one day that I lived a full life and I had an impact on the world.
Here was a man who enjoyed life, was honest, and a kind person.
Okay, that's just the beginning. Why do you want to be listed as a person who's concerned with other people? Because that's good. What makes it good? You know, it just keeps on going. The depth to understand the final realization of good is eternity. Good is meaning. Good is is what we're really living for, will take a lot of pursuit of just one concept to get to the ultimate. So whenever you think you understand a subject, kick yourself in the back, because you haven't even begun. Life is so deep, so meaningful, so gorgeous. We can't really think that we know.
Depends on what you call plagiarism.
It's stealing. Thou shalt not.
No, of course not. Why not copy what there is already?
It depends if that person deserves to be plagiarized or not.
Yes, plagiarism really is wrong.
Because you're stealing somebody else's idea without giving them credit.
Copying is a type of flattery.
Everything up to now is probably recycled, whether it's a report or an answer. Nothing's really original.
Sure, you can use someone, you can build off someone else's work, but don't claim it as your own. I'll say the gallows for plagiarists, definitely.
Definitely. I'm a writer.
Yeah, the plagiarist is the worst that he's doing is to himself, you see, because in Judaism we say that gratitude is the essence of living. Know your debts. If somebody taught you something which is valuable, quote him. It's just a simple illustration how it would change the whole bloody world. The whole world would change. Is if humanity would give the Jewish people the credit for love your neighbor as yourself. As the Jewish people taught us. Or just think a moment, opposite the UN wall, opposite the UN building in Manhattan, opposite the UN building, there's a wall. And they call it the Zayah wall, the Zayah wall. And it's a quote from the prophet, Yeshayahu. And the quote is, "And they shall turn the swords into plowshares, and man will not carry weapons against man." Yeah? Peace on earth. That's the UN. So whenever they said, we're for peace, whenever they would speak in the UN and all these talks, and we want peace, worldwide peace, like the Jewish people taught us. Because I don't know if you guys know, but 100 years ago, they were still worshiping war. The god of war, Mars, yeah? The hero in battle, that was the gentleman, the knight. Into the valley of death rode the 300, yeah? Or Beowulf. Yeah? I used to study Beowulf when I was a kid in elementary school. You had to learn these things. Homer. They were, we, the Jewish people, we said war is hell. Peace on earth, the brotherhood of man. So if every time they spouted these concepts, they would say, like the Jewish people brought this concept into the world and they were so right, yeah? You know that the whole world would treat us in an altogether different manner.
Plagiarism, I think it's wrong because I'd be really sad if someone took something I did and then said it was theirs. Because, if you work really hard at something, then what you're supposed to do, someone just takes it. It really doesn't seem fair. I say the same thing.
If you have any questions or any comments, anything at all, we're interested. Please call.